Thank you for the time. I want to start by, for people that may not have read the fine print of this executive order, just lay out what change does this executive order bring?
Sure. And so one of the biggest changes is that we bring HHS and DOJ together to incentivize and fund co-responder programs. What that is we allow for social workers to join law enforcement and go on the beat, and it helps law enforcement deal with issues such as mental health, as well as drug addiction or homelessness. Our law enforcement has been overwhelmed with these type of cases, and law enforcement is probably not the best for handling a person with a mental illness or handling a person with substance abuse problems. But some social workers can, as well as some nonprofits or faith groups. And so I think these co-responder programs will help de-escalate a lot of different situations, and empower the community to also work with the police on solutions. Another piece is the accreditation program. There are independent organizations that accredited or credential police departments with standards on use of force, standards on de-escalation training, and standards on how to create better police and community relationships. We found that the police departments that are accredited are less likely to have these incidences in the community, and they're also organizations or police departments that have less crime. And so what we did was we conditioned discretionary funding to police departments that are accredited. And I think that's going to have a major push on police departments around the country to update their standards. There were police departments like Minneapolis that have had standards that have been in place for 40 years as it relates to use of force. And there is a gold standard that police have put together, and many police groups disagree with the way things were handled there, and they should have been accredited a long time ago. And then lastly, and most importantly, a database that collects cops who have bad records when it comes to use of force, and allowing for that information to be shared for between police departments, so that bad cops don't move from one police department after being fired and go to another one. And so we want to have the best police, the best police departments, but more importantly, we want to bring the police and communities together. And that's the focus of what the president envisions, and a way for us to create not only safer communities, but a more just system for all Americans.
Jerron, is this the start or is this the end? Because already there's criticism that this order, it barely scratches the surface of the seismic reform that thousands of people that are marching and protesting across this country are asking for, and it doesn't address systemic racism. It's not comprehensive. It's not enough. So is there more to come, or is this it?
The president has called this a first step, and we did as much as we could do through the administration, and we're looking at Congress to see how much we can get done, where we can find common ground, because the issue is very complex. I mean, in many cases, we certainly want accountability on the police, but we also want the police to be able to do their job. If we go too far to the left by defunding police, then vulnerable populations are going to be left without police to protect them. We have to incentivize the police to be on the beat and create that police community relation. That's the systemic issue we have to fix, is allowing better police and community relationships. And some of that accountability is on the location. But there's other issues. The president has always wanted to handle this very holistically. That's why last Thursday he announced a 4-pillar plan that deals with access to education, access to healthcare in minority communities, as well as access to capital. I think holistically with the disparities for justice, those 4 pillars is going to help really revitalize minority communities in a unique way.
Jerron, yesterday the president said that the previous administration did not tackle any police reform, yet there was some rolling back of some Obama policies, including surplus military equipment going to police and using consent decrees after DOJ investigations into police departments. So is that an accurate statement what the president said yesterday?
It's close to accurate. I mean, so it was 15 cities that took the president's recommendations out of 18,000. And so I think what we need to do is do more work with the police so we can scale more of the activities. I know that Detroit was one of the cities, and I will say that what happened in Detroit was very successful. I had some time this week to talk to your police chief, and I believe the police and community relations is great there. But then other places like Baltimore, those type of consent decrees have pushed more police not to want to go into the tough neighborhoods because they're scared for their life. If you encourage policies that doesn't allow for the police to act when we need them to act, then you're also encouraging more crime to most vulnerable populations, and that's what we worry about. We need to do two things. We want to create better trust between the police and the community, but we also want to protect the police officers because many of them sign up to do a very tough job, and we certainly need them when it comes to certain crimes of violence. And some of our inner cities are really dealing with those issues, and we want to be helpful and create safer communities.
John, in the past hour or so, Senate Republicans unveiled a proposal of their own that seems to add on top of this executive order, including duty to intervene. Is that something that the White House can get behind?
Sure. Well, we're taking a look at it. I can't get ahead of the president, but we've worked really closely with Senator Tim Scott on the executive order. And just so you know, the executive order was a partnership with working with individuals like Senator Tim Scott, as well as police force, but also the families who were represented by the Reform Alliance. And so this is the needle we want to thread with the American people. And I think the Republicans want to do the same thing, put pragmatic reforms that bring the police and the communities together so that we can create a more just system, but also a safer system for all Americans.
All right, Jerron, I know you're a busy man. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian.